Hey guys, it's Beth, and today is day 8 of Bookmas, but since I forgot to do day 7 yesterday, I got really busy. I went to see Star Wars. It was great, but I forgot my video, so I'm going to do days 7 and 8 together. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to try to make it not too long, I hope. Okay, so the first fantasy world I would love to live in should come as no surprise to anyone. If you have read the books, seen the movies, most of you will probably also want to go live there, and that is the world of Hogwarts. I grabbed the magical worlds of Harry Potter as well. I love the cover on this book. And it's just, there's magic, and they took care of Voldemort, so we can just go to Hogwarts and be friends and have Neville as a teacher, or just go teach there because I'm 30 and they're probably not going to let me in to take my owls and newts at this point. But I would like to think I could at least teach Muggle affairs and make a pretty good go of it there. Next is Cassandra Clare's world, Mortal Instruments, and the Infernal Devices. I have not read that series yet, and I haven't finished this one. But without all the danger and nastiness that's going on in the middle of these books, I really love the world that she has created, kind of that invisible world where the veil keeps us from seeing everything that's going on. I really like that, and I would love to be able to kind of get behind the veil and meet those characters and see what's going on. Next, I'm reading Throne of Glass, and I just love the descriptions. As she's telling us, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name of the world, but I would love to be there and learn how to say everything and see all that's going on. Then I've got Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, again, without probably the nastiness going on in it. I just love the idea of people that have these little special gifts and are taking care of just different things for us. And let's see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I've got Nora Roberts' books. This is the Key series. It's the first one I grabbed, but pretty much any of her books, there's kind of an Irish, Welsh mythology going on in most of them, and I just love that extra layer of magic. Again, I am a big fan of the layers. Then I've got Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I love Wonderland. Alice is one of my favorite books, and it's just wonderful for me. I just love it. And then I'm going to throw in something I've written. This is the first book in my Stone Dragon saga, and although I live in the world in my head, I wrote it, I see all of it, I would love to be able to actually go and visit the fairy world, and this is called Realta. Basically, it is just the other side. It's their real world with the fairies and the magic that has broken off from our world, and then in these books, some of the characters have come over to our world, and they're trying to fight to save our world and their family and their world, and I would love to be able to go. I'd even like to meet my villainess probably right before she gets beaten, but since I haven't written that yet, I don't know. She's just crazy out of her mind, and she seems like she'd be a lot of fun to hang out with for about 5 minutes before I ran away screaming. So, yeah. I also have a couple of worlds that I would like to kind of visit that I don't have a book to show you for, and that is the worlds of the DC and Marvel comics. I have always loved the Avengers and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is one of my mom's favorite things ever, and I've always wanted to be part of a world where those people existed and I could know them and, visit the X-Men and just hang out. So that was my day 7. 7 fantasy worlds I would love to live in, plus bonus Marvel fantasy. So let's move on. Okay, so obviously I'm in a different setup, but I was editing just now and realized I forgot one of the most important fantasy worlds that I would like to live in. Since I was 7 and read the book for the first time, I have wanted to live in the Shire and be a hobbit and have just one of those little hobbit holes. So that is definitely one I would like to go and live in. On the 8th day of Bookmas, my true love gave to me 8 classics that I love, so let's just get right into it. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and mention one I did for the 7 days as well, and that is Alice in Wonderland. I love Lewis Carroll. I love Alice. I love this world. It is beautifully nonsensical, and it has so many just great things in it that can be applied to real life any day, anytime. It it's a great boost for female confidence, and if you have studied it, like a lot of people on BookTube probably have, because we are such amazingly nerdy book people, which is just awesome. I love it. But if you have studied it, you know that he wrote it for his goddaughter, and one of my favorite quotes ever is that someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. And I don't think that I ever grew out of reading them, but I know that I'm starting to get to the point where they are even more sensible to me now than maybe before, and I love them even more than I did when I was little. Please read it. It's just wonderful. The next one is King Arthur and His Knight, illustrated by Henry C. Pitts, and this is written by Henry Frith, or retold by Henry Frith. Great mythology, legends, and they're just amazing. I love them, and it's one of my favorite classics, those stories. And then I want to talk to you about A Midsummer Night's Dream. I have this little edition here. Really, I love most of Shakespeare. If you watched my video about overhyped releases, I did mention quite vehemently that I despise Romeo and Juliet, and I typically don't like any of the Romeo and Juliet retellings or fan fictions like Twilight, because that story just, it grates on me, and I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. If you want to know more, let me know, and I can talk to you in the comments about it, and I may make a video about it later on. But yeah, that one not so much. But I love his sonnets, and I love A Midsummer Night's Dream and Hamlet and Macbeth, and it's just great work that is still pretty relevant today in different instances. So next we've got Roald Dahl. I've got SEO Trot here, my little paperback of it. Just pretty much anything Roald Dahl wrote. It's great classics, and I love reading them, and I love the fact that I have a 3-year-old that I can start sharing some of the tamer things with. And then we've got Shakespeare, Sherlock Holmes. This is the puzzle collection written by Dr. John Watson. But I love the books, and I love the puzzle book that I've got for it. I don't actually have my collection of Sherlock Holmes. It went missing a few years ago, and I haven't replaced it yet. But I do just absolutely adore those books. They're amazing. Next, I've got Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. My aunt gave me my first copy of this book. I think I was 8 or 9, and I loved it then, and I love it now. It's amazing. I love Jane Austen's books, but Pride and Prejudice is my favorite ever. Then I have The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I love this book. Then I've got the works of Edgar Allan Poe. This is one of my favorite copies that I've ever had. I think I've still got some of his other things randomly lying around, but this one is just out and about all the time. I love the black cover, and it's got the gold filigree, and I just love The Raven is one of my favorite poems, and I love all of his short stories. And the town I live in, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you this, but our mascot is the gold bug, because way back in the day an English teacher started giving out little gold bugs as symbols of excellence, and it caught on, and so now we are the gold bugs. That's where I graduated. And then I've got Anne of Green Gables. That's my final one. I love this book, this story, Ellen Montgomery. The reason I found my favorite poet was reading this book. She quotes from The Lady of Shalott by Alfred Tennyson, and it made me want to read that, and so I did, and now Lord Alfred Tennyson is my favorite poet of all time. And it's just amazing. So I know this video has been a little long, but that was day 7 and day 8 of Bookmas, and I promise I will try not to miss any more days so that I don't have to do 2 together again. And as always, if you want to comment, I will be more than happy to talk to you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. If you've read the books, let me know what you thought. If you haven't read the books, ask me about them, or tell me if I've sparked your interest in any of them. And until tomorrow, bye.